Good morning all. Welcome back to my class. Today we are going to learn a new lesson, The Schoolboy. The poem The Schoolboy by William Blake is written from the perspective of a young boy who hates to go to school in a disciplined way. William Blake was a 19th century writer and artist who is regarded as a seminal figure of Romantic age. Turn your textbook to page number 84. Look at the textbook, The Schoolboy. I love to rise in a summer morn, when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spent the day in sighing and dismay. Then at times I drooping sit, and spent many an anxious hour. Nor in my book can I take delight, nor sitting learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing, and forget his useful spring? O father and mother, if buds are nipped, and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, by sorrow and chaos dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy? Or the summer fruits appear? I am going to explain the first stanza, so look at the first stanza. I love to rise in a summer morn, when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! The schoolboy says that he loves to rise in a summer morning. It is the time when the birds sing on every tree. He loves the sound of the distant huntsman when he blows his horn. He loves the song of the skylark who seems to sing only for him. According to the schoolboy, it is his best company and he enjoys it very much. The first stanza of the poem is all about the things which make the schoolboy happy. The morning time is the time of hope and aspiration. Look at the second stanza. But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spent the day in sighing and dismay. In the second stanza, the tone totally changes from delight to dismay. The boy says that he does not like going to school in the summer morning. It takes away all the joy and happiness of him. The teacher keeps a close eye on students and they have to spend the entire day in sadness and distress. The second stanza describes that in schools the children are kept under the strict supervision of teachers and are forced to obey the rules which makes their lives joyless. I am going to explain, so look at the third stanza. Then at times I drooping sit, and spent many an anxious hour. Nor in my book can I take delight, nor sitting learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. In the third stanza, the schoolboy describes how he spent his day at school. He says that he sits for long hours with his head hanging down and spent a lot of time in boredom. He does not find any joy or happiness in books. The next lines are quite confusing, so listen. Nor sitting learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. The schoolboy says that he does not feel any joy while sitting in learning's bower. It has been all worn through by heavy rain. Bower means a shady place under the tree. However, the phrase Learningsbauer means a place where someone comes to learn. Dreary shower means heavy rain. Look at the next stanza. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child when fears annoy but droop his tender wing and forget his useful spring? In this stanza, the poet compares himself to a bird and school to a cage. As the bird cannot sing in the cage, he cannot enjoy his childhood in the school. He says that children are afraid of teachers. He feels that he is a prisoner in the school. As a caged bird lets his wing down and forgets to share the joy of spring, the boy also forgets to enjoy his young days. Look at the next stanza. Oh, father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, by sorrow and chaos dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy? Or the summer fruits appear? The boy appeals to the parents not to harass their children. He tries to explain to them that if buds are nipped, then no one will have ever known the beauty and fragrance that a flower spread. Similarly, if plants are destroyed when they are still tender, spring will never be a happy occasion. Anything that is obstructed from its growth in a tender age is ruined for a lifetime. The boy compares his growth and development with such natural imagery to convey his point. If everything is destroyed before its time, buds will not bloom into flowers. Plants will not be alive to give ripe fruits. Spring or summer will not be occasioned with plenitude and joy. Just like elements in our natural surroundings require the right atmosphere for growth, and then they become a thing of beauty, delivering something sweet and pleasant. Similarly, a child requires the right kind of mixture of love, care, affection, and freedom to become a pleasant and soothing person. Do you know which are the poetic devices used in this poem? The poetic devices used in this poem are alliteration, anaphora, and metaphor. What is alliteration? In alliteration, consonant sounds in two or more neighboring words or syllables are repeated. Here, look at these lines. And the skylark sings with me, and blossoms blown away. Skylark sings. Next is blossoms blown. Here, s and b sound repeats. Next is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is the deliberate repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive lines or sentences in order to achieve an artistic effect. Here, look at the third and fifth stanza. Nor is used in the third and fourth line of the third stanza, and is used in the second and third line of the fifth stanza. Then the next is a metaphor. What is metaphor? A metaphor is used to make a comparison between two things that aren't alike but do have something in common. In the fourth stanza, the poet compares the schoolboy to a caged bird. So we say that it's a metaphor. Can you find out other metaphors from the poem? Then, what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? Can you find out? Yes, A-B, A-B-B. That's all for today. Thank you.